The TV1 News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Good evening, this is TV1 News. I'm Mary Stella Kelleton.
And I'm Rex Lita. Join me later for the Bulletin for Sports.
In this edition, 2,000 NCD teachers in week-long in service, Sumgilba Cooperative Society taps into poultry, and Tauloi makes an impression in host class debut. The National Court has granted leave to Adventure Kokoda PNG to apply for a judicial review of the revocation of its commercial tour operator's license for Kokoda. The decision was made on June 8th and will return to court on July 7th for further directions. This case follows the decision by the Minister for Environment, Conservation and Climate Change, Simon Kilepa, to cancel Adventure Kokoda's commercial tour operator's license on April 24, 2023. Kilepa is the first defendant. The second defendant is Acting Chief Executive Officer of Kokoda Trek Local Level Government Special Purposes Authority, Julius Warangirai. And the third defendant is the Kokoda Trek Local Level Government Special Purposes Authority owner of Adventure Kokoda, Charlie Lin, welcomed the decision, saying the court agreed that they have an arguable case to answer for alleged irregularities surrounding the revocation of 4 operators' license. Over 2,000 teachers in the National Capital District took part in a week-long in-service training for all primary, preparatory and vocational teachers in NCD schools. The National District Services under the National Department of Education facilitated the training, which started today and ends this Friday. The focus is to standardize the programming component under the theme Quality Training for Quality Teaching and Learning.
NCD Education Service First Acting Secretary Peter Kent spoke at the opening of the week-long in-service training for NCD teachers. He said the in-service will require the best standards of what teachers should do, including proper sleep leadership plan and need-based development plan for schools in NCD.
Today is basically the introduction. It's about, I want them to understand me, what my needs are, what I want them to do, get some feedback from them, introduce to them what they're required to do, and that's 2 things: sleep, proper sleep plan. In the sleep plan, it should contain how we will implement the standards-based curriculum, SBC. And
he said teachers faced a lot of challenges in NCD, which is different to the rest of the provinces.
We are in the city, and what so many people expect is that city teachers should have less problem and should deliver the way that teaching and learning should be delivered. But the issues in NCD is quite different as well. Housing is one major problem. Teachers have to sleep well to come and teach. The other issue is spacing problem in the classrooms. No one has taken control of that problem over time. What we simply do is we take in kids from everywhere, keep enrolling, and the classroom swells up, and the teacher is put in a very difficult situation to teach.
He said the culture of working together is one of the main emphases that will be alluded to the teachers to ensure they work together as a team to deliver effective teaching and learning.
Teamwork is the key, so that's what I am emphasizing. They must know themselves, they must know the school, but they must work as a team to deliver in NCD.
He said teachers are expected to plan their SBC and deliver effective learning and teaching after the training.
Every teacher should be able to plan the SBC, to program the SBC, and to deliver the content to the kids without much problem.
This is the second in-service that is conducted after the secondary school teachers in-service last week. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape fondly remembers the late Sir Costas Constantino as a great man who held a deep affection for Papua New Guinea. These sentiments were expressed at Sir Costas' funeral service held at the 12 Apostles Catholic Church in Brisbane on Friday, June 30. The solemn occasion was attended by a multitude of friends, business associates, prominent PNG leaders and members of Sir Costas' family.
Sir Costas Constantino, who expanded his father Sir George Constantino's legacy with the Constantino Group, left an indelible mark across the Pacific. Prime Minister James Marape, who attended Sir Costas' funeral service in Brisbane, said his visionary endeavors encompass prestigious establishments such as Airways Hotel, Lamana Development, Monia, Ebo, Loloata Island Resort, Gazelle International PNG, Heritage Park Hotel in Solomon Islands, and Taumesina Island Resort in Samoa, among others. Renowned for his astute business acumen and magnetic personality, Sir Costas held esteemed positions as the chairman of prominent organizations including Air Niugini and Bank South Pacific. He exemplified resilience and was deeply committed to empowering Papua New Guineans, fostering employment opportunities, and inspiring countless individuals in their pursuit of progress and prosperity. Furthermore, Sir Costas served as the honorary consul for Greece. Tragically, Sir Costas passed away on Saturday, June 17, 2023, at the age of 65, leaving behind a legacy that will endure for generations to come. During Sir Costas' funeral service, Prime Minister Marape delivered a heartfelt eulogy reflecting the sentiments shared by the nation. The Prime Minister was accompanied by Governor for NCD Powes Pakop, Governor for Northern Gary Jufa, Governor for Gulf Chris Iweta, Minister for Community Development, Youth, Religion and Sports Jason Peter, Popondeta MP Richard Masere, and Mosby South MP Justin Kachenko. Freddie Mo, TV1 News.
You're watching TV1 News. Stay with us for more after the break.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life.
Enjoy life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, a scalress family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite from us. Tennessee Cola, scare rice, don't scare price. Tennessee Cola, scare rice, don't scare price. Amber, you like it?
Hiya, Mama. You wait time, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaroke, up a big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the mumu, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier by you like you more.
Back for Tigers. Beautiful ball and a try for Osako in the corner.
There's nothing more intense than this thing. I've been in racing my entire life since I was 3 or 4 years old. Anytime you get in one of these things, your life is in danger.
There's no room for error. I mean, this is life or death. I'm determined.
We travel across the country with this beast, and people just go nuts.
Welcome back. The Octedi Women's Network, or OWN, has generously donated a new atom infant incubator to Tabobil Hospital, addressing the urgent need for improved neonatal care. The incubator purchased at 50,000 kina was made possible through the proceeds from OWN's 2022 Cancer Awareness Campaign fundraising drive. This initiative stems from concerns raised by OWN members and community mothers regarding the lack of a proper incubator for premature or special needs infants. Tabobil Hospital delivers an average of 12 babies per month, making this donation a significant milestone as the first equipment provided by external partners. The donation has bridged the gap in neonatal care and will benefit numerous babies with complications related to prematurity. The OWN's contribution demonstrates their commitment to the well-being of women and children in the community and sets a precedent for future healthcare initiatives. At the request of the government of Papua New Guinea, Task Force Koa Moana returns to PNG again. Task Force Koa Moana 23, comprised of U.S. Marines and sailors from Marine Expeditionary Force, have deployed to Papua New Guinea to support PNG's stability, security and prosperity. Task Force Moana 23's goal is to strengthen relationships with Papua New Guinea through a bilateral and multilateral security cooperation exercise that runs from June until September. The exercise includes capacity training and infrastructure improvement projects. Koa Moana is an ongoing partnership that began in 2016. Task Force Koa Moana 23 is comprised of approximately 200 U.S. Marines and sailors from 1st Marine Division, 1st Marine Logistics Group, and 1 MEF Information Group who will organize into multiple detachments. These detachments will conduct subject matter expert exchanges throughout Papua New Guinea at the request of the government of PNG. The task force established a mutual agreement with Papua New Guinea to provide expertise in engineering, medical care, infrastructure development, and community engagements. Named Koa Moana, Hawaiian for Ocean Warrior, the task force is designed to strengthen relationships between the U.S. and Papua New Guinea, enhance cooperation with PNG security establishments, and support national sovereignty across the Oceania region. The Federated States of Micronesia and the Republic of Palau also requested to participate in Task Force Koa Moana as well. In establishing a viable special economic zone, access to a reliable power supply is important for a project like the Ihu Special Economic Zone. For this reason, the management of the Ihu SEZ have signed a memorandum of understanding with Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited to progress feasibility studies on power generation sources. This is a follow-up from the agreement signed between the Ministry of International Trade and Investment and KPHL earlier this year. KPHL Managing Director Wapu Song said, KPHL is happy to collaborate with the Ihu SEZ Development Company and look at the most appropriate power solutions for the Ihu SEZ, which could include renewable energy sources such as hydro. Managing Director of the Ihu SEZ Development Company, Peter Kengema, noted that the Ihu SEZ establishment in 2020 lies a geographically and strategically located close of the wellheads and pipeline of the Papua LNG project. Former District Administrator for Medan Province, Jimmy Sekum, has established the Sumgil Bar Cooperative Society to tap into the various downstream processing initiatives proposed in the province. One of them is in agriculture and livestock management.
The government recently banned the import of chicken into Papua New Guinea, hoping to create a lucrative industry for farmers nationwide. Many provinces have since then taken the initiative to embark in poultry, with some assorted locally packaged chicken products already in shops throughout the country.
Import frozen chicken lo country. Time Benin means also supply by down, demand by one tap, price by one tap. So everything was simply what in Haruk na pani market access to the mass market inside the province or country.
Coincidentally, on May 19, Governor Ramsey Pariwa launched the partnership between the Department of Agriculture and Livestock and the provincial government to bridge the gap for downstream processing to occur within the province. This also saw the move to upgrade the Sagalau abattoir to cater for poultry and other meat products to be processed and made available on the shelves. Former District Administrator for Medang Province, Jimmy Sekum, now retired, has been actively involved in community activities in his electorate. Seeking another alternative to his family coffee business, he and members of his community registered the Mugil Poultry Farmer Cooperative solely to meet the demand of chicken through the Sagalau abattoir.
January 3rd, Prime Minister been come from Medang, been talk law. Plenty something, or member here, Governor, talk law, development in Medang. Sabda sampai touch lo side lo agriculture, miarem, lo coffee, lo kakaro, na oil palm. Dulu na alternative project yang kakaro. So we mobilize more line or family style mungkin lo. Termasuk wajib kakaro na market itu.
However, into the third meeting of the group, more interest was shown from many other farmers outside of the Mugil area, and so they expanded their cooperative group name to capture the whole district in Sumgilbar Poultry Farmer Cooperative Society. The group, still in infancy stages, is determined to grow its poultry business. There is a 250 kina registration fee. 50 kina is mandatory, while 200 kina can be paid in installments. There is also another 70 kina fee that covers training. Mr. Sekum said 20 kina is for poultry management and 50 kina goes to financing financial literacy trainings.
Training fee is I'm not a cooperative. I'm the demand. 20 kina blow poultry management. 50 kina blow financial literacy. So I have total of 70 kina for training alone.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2800 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2725 US, $0.4062 Australian dollars, $0.2432 euro, and 38.96 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, cocoa, copper, crude oil, and copper closed higher. The rest closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher. The ASX is trading higher, and All Ordinaries is trading higher as well. TV1 News continues after the break with news from around the region. Stay with us.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life.
He loves the Maroons. He loves the Blues. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend. PNG's own coffee.
Hardware House launches the low-cost quick build kit home, built with quality building materials from the leading manufacturer of steel products and kit homes, Atlas Steel. Going now at introductory prices: 1-bedroom kit home at 79,000 kina, 2-bedroom kit home at 99,900 kina, and 3-bedroom kit home at 125,000 kina. You can also opt for solar units to be installed in the kit home at an extra charge. For more information, email info@hardwarehouse.com.pg.
It's in the highs and in the lows. It's in the big things and the small things too. It's hard to put into words, but you'll know it when you see it. Terrain Tamer, when quality counts.
I love you. Be safe.
Hey, good choices.
Always. See you again. Never.
Hopefully not that soon. Check your email.
Our daughter's gonna marry a guy she just met millions of miles from home.
Whatever this is, it's your fault. Let's talk game plan. We steal the rings.
I was about to say that.
But I said it, so it's my idea. Isn't he amazing?
Only if he drops her.
Ticket to Paradise premieres Saturday, July 15th, 9 p.m. on HBO.
Get ready for a mouth-watering dive into the wild with Mike Robinson.
Look at that!
Good job.
Ow!
It's the ultimate catch and cook.
I have noticed that you have not gutted it.
I tend not to gut it.
There's so much flavour.
That's stunning, to be fair.
You know, we're enacting what our ancestors did. It's in our DNA to do this.
Fishing the Wild. Streaming now on Outdoor.
Welcome back. The Pacific is due to get a dramatic shift in weather over the next 12 months. The region is focused to experience an El Nino event, while some scientists have already said it has started. La Nina is the cooling phase, whereas El Nino is the warming phase of the waters in the eastern Pacific off the coast of South America. Meteorologists say high levels of rainfall is likely for some places like Kiribati that has been in a long drought, while parts of the western Pacific like Papua New Guinea should be drier than normal. There is also a higher chance of more cyclones in the southwest Pacific, with the risk increasing east of Fiji but reducing in the west. The Victorian government has defended its decision to cut a number of hospital programs introduced during the height of the pandemic. The critical care offload models were brought in to reduce ambulance ramping and improve wait times, but the Premier says they're no longer needed.
With hospitals stretched during the pandemic, programs were introduced to help meet demand. Now they're being cut.
There were very specific measures put in place for COVID. They were always time limited.
Under one program, clinicians liaised between emergency department and ambulance staff to take pressure off the system. The other provided more staff to transport non-urgent patients home. It's the loss of this program that has emergency workers worried.
If we don't have transport to get these patients out of emergency back to their nursing home accommodation or the like, then that slows the flow and it means that the ambulance bay will likely get busier.
While hospitals aren't dealing with large numbers of COVID patients, pressure on the system hasn't eased.
The demand is not going down, and the impact on our ability to provide timely care is impacted, and that also leads to increased risk to the patients.
A third of patients cannot get an ambulance in a critical situation within the recommended time.
While COVID measures are being wound back, the state budget does contain new funding for paramedic practitioners and virtual EDs to address the ongoing demand.
We have a number of different innovations which have enabled us to be far more efficient and targeted in how care is directed.
But until those things really take up some of the slack in the health system, these initiatives are needed.
What have we got here?
As some programs are cut, others are springing to life, with the opening of Australia's first public sperm and egg bank. Ambulance Services Minister Gabrielle Williams sharing her own experience with IVF.
Each and every day I'm so very grateful for the donor who gave me the gift of my son.
The new service will give free access to sperm and egg donations to be used for IVF.
It's very important to give fair and equitable access to women across the state of Victoria,
helping new families come to life.
Environmental concerns in the Pacific also come with political risk for Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. In the coming months, Japan will be in a position to enact its long-announced plan to release contaminated water from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant into the Pacific Ocean. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who will make the final decision on whether to go ahead with the plan, will have to balance the fact that the tanks currently being used to store the water will reach their capacity in early 2024 against the environmental and political risk that the plan to release the water presents. How he ultimately does this is likely to have significant ramifications not only for his own domestic standing, but for Japan's international reputation as well. Island Memel, also known as Goat Island, is a step closer to being returned to its traditional owners. The state government has signed a memorandum of understanding that will restore the heritage-listed island.
Situated in the heart of Sydney Harbour, Memel, or Goat Island, has a rich Indigenous history, lost to a colonial past.
This place does have, today, a colonial, a maritime, and of course embedded in it the first was the Aboriginal and Eora history.
Now it's a step closer to returning to its traditional owners, with the Premier signing a memorandum of understanding with the Memel Transfer Committee, a group of 14 Indigenous leaders tasked with identifying exactly who the original custodians are and determining the future of the land.
And the signing of an MOU is an important yardstick to see that transition take place.
We're going to take the time to do this right, with the right support, the right research, and the right engagement.
Memel was once the home of Benelong and his wife Barangaroo. In the 1800s, the island housed hundreds of convicts and was a gunpowder storage depot. It later became the site of the first water police station, before serving as a shipbuilding yard in the 1950s and 60s. But it's since fallen into disrepair. $43 million has been committed to its regeneration. The funds will not only go towards maintaining the island, but repairing and restoring historical buildings here too. This original Harbour Master's cottage is currently too dangerous to enter, damaged by termites and mould. The hope is the island will one day be able to welcome tourists.
Wonderful opportunities to drive tourism and economic development for Aboriginal peoples in the heart of the Mecca of tourism in Australia.
So this hidden gem can once again be enjoyed by everyone.
As polls show declining support for an Indigenous voice to Parliament, the Yes campaign is trying to regain momentum by focusing on grassroots action, a similar strategy to those opposing the change.
Message writ large. Across the country, a coordinated push from the Yes campaign to kick off NAIDOC Week.
We can't do this alone. Please walk with us.
It's going to give power back to our communities to make choices and decisions that affect them.
Alongside smoking ceremonies and performances,
hello, thanks for coming.
Indigenous leaders and politicians from both sides made their cases for why an Indigenous voice to Parliament should be enshrined in our nation's founding document.
The first question is, if not now, when? And the second question is, if not us, who?
I want an Australia that's better and stronger, and we can do that by voting yes.
One key goal of the Yes campaign is bringing a national conversation to a local level.
And that voice will come from the grassroots, that voice will come from communities, and governments will now listen to us.
This voice will have a big impact of what Australia sees as its culture.
Imagine the pride we'll all have when we wake up the day after a successful referendum.
Today's events come at a crucial moment for the Yes campaign. It could be less than 2 months before the vote happens, and recent polling indicates that support for the voice is weakening. According to the polling average model being used by the ABC, which aggregates all polls on the referendum, the Yes vote has been trending down all year. Its critics aren't keeping quiet.
No! For the last time, no.
Independent Senator Lydia Thorpe says a voice would make no difference to the welfare of First Nations people.
It's a powerless advisory body that we have to go begging for. We're better than that, and this country is better than that.
The opposition leader, on the other hand, concerned about too much change.
It will change our system of government. It's permanent, it's risky, and it is going to create all sorts of unintended consequences.
A date for the vote is yet to be finalised.
And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Back home, regional forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region isolated showers and thunderstorms.
learning something new, to see a different point of view. With money plus we're ready to go.
Mipla halivim wari belong you.
Change your TV plan to a postpaid plan and save more than 100 kina. Get a 30-day 40-channel plan for only 85 kina and get a free DTV plan to watch rugby league.
Blink and you miss it.
Or Filipino dramas from anywhere you want. Good idea. How awesome is that?
What a moment.
Dial 1515 to speak to a TV agent and get yourself a postpaid TV plan today. Digicel TV. More channels, more choice, more value.
While it's disappointing they've lost the series, there's still a job to be done and a legacy to uphold.
Leopards, bison, cheetahs, and more.
Ideally, all of these animals roaming freely would paint a beautiful picture. However, human progress won't allow that. The next best thing is to give them value.
Join Dan Cabela as he sets out on an international journey of discovery within the world of conservation.
There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and science is the best hope to find answers for their survival.
Hard Truths of Conservation, streaming now on Outdoor.
Space. Walks past Demifire, rushes in. Here he is. Again. Has he not got in? He has. Persistence pays off. In by Navas. 1-1. Sporting of Andalusian joy.
No mai, haere mai, ki te whenua. Welcome to the land and skies of our ancestors. From our mountains and our seas. From these grounds and waters of Australia. And Aotearoa, New Zealand. We welcome the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 to come and play at ours.
Welcome back. While lead-up preparations for the upcoming Pacific Games in the Solomon Islands are on track, the PNG Olympic Committee, PNG Sports Foundation and the national government are working in collaboration to make sure Team PNG dominates the PNG Games, the games on the medal tally. PNG Sports Foundation CEO Albert Veratau said with the national government's 200% support, they are continuously monitoring the progress of the teams and athletes to make sure they meet Games performance standards before the team departs our shores.
Following their performance strategy meeting last week, the PNG Sports Foundation and PNG Olympic Committee have been proactive in making sure PNG's preparations for the Games are on target. PNG SF CEO Albert Veratau said the committee is very precise in how they want the team to perform and they set targets for the medal prospects.
We are looking at 90 plus gold medals as the minimum to be up there among the top two or maybe even win the Solomon Games. So that's our target, and then we've now cascading it down to specific sport and specific individuals, and also understanding how we prepare those individuals to ensure that they're primed by the time they hit the Solomon track. So that's looking at boxing, looking at athletics, and looking at touch rugby and all those, every sport that is either on the top or at the bronze medal stage. And we're saying, okay, how do we invest our limited resources to ensure that we push the silver ones into the gold category, keep the gold ones there, so that our target's 90 plus gold medals.
Verital commented that PNG has not won the Pacific Games offshore apart from winning 2 games on home turf in 1991 and 2015 in Port Moresby. He said the target would be to create history for the country by winning the 2023 Games in the Solomon Islands.
We haven't won a game outside of PNG, so both PNG Olympic Committee, PNG Sports Foundation, the national government are actually working towards winning this. Because this will be the most historical thing for us. As a bigger country with a bigger budget and a bigger population, I think we need to, stake our claim, and we're working towards it. And I'm happy that I'm very pleased that the Minister is very 200% supportive of it, and Ovida and I have been collaborating since for the last 2 years, almost 2 years now.
On the team's preparations, PNG OC Secretary-General Avita Rapila said all sports are committed and training hard, including the main medal prospects in athletics, weightlifting and boxing.
So thank you to KCH and the government for that support that we've got that's helping us. But it's a lot of sports, and so we're relying on the Minister and the Sports Foundation for additional support to try and make sure that our team is ready and to compete at the Games.
Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
SP PNG Hunters debutant Wallen Tauloi was impressive in the 14-8 win against Central Queensland Capras on Saturday at the Santos National Football Stadium. He ran some good lines and was impressive. The rookie second rower was equally strong in attack and defence, holding off Nixon Put in a remarkable defensive effort. Wallen Tauloi has been one of the best in the young Central Dabaris side. His performance on the edge didn't go unnoticed. It got the attention of the Hunters selectors, and he was called into the camp, earning him a debut in the Host Plus Cup against the Central Queensland Capras over the weekend. He was picked for his skills and flexibility and his will to remain competitive for the full 80 minutes. Assistant coach Paul Aiton praised Tauloi for an impressive debut. He repaid the fate of the selectors that had faith in picking him to mark well-experienced player Nixon Put. Coach Aiton said the team knew it was going to be a tough assignment for the rookie, but they had faith in the young man and he executed well.
Yeah, we were confident. There was a couple of players we were looking at putting, but we found that Wallen at training, he's only been a handful of sessions with us, but he picked up things really well. His movement and his eagerness. You tell him to do something, he does it. So we had full confidence because we know, I'd like to think Nixon's probably one of the most powerful back rowers in the Host Plus Cup. So to put a debutant against him, it's a pretty big decision. But Coach and I had full confidence in what Wallen could do, and I think he showed that.
Hunters captain Ila Alu was all praise for Wallen as well.
Played 80 minutes and delivered, did his job on the edge, defended Nixon, which is a hard person to defend, as we all know, but he contained him. But they're really proud of him. He did his job, nothing more, nothing less, and his contribution brought us the outcome that we wanted. So really happy for him.
The former Dabari player played the full 80 minutes and was strong both in attack and in defense. He managed to cross the line for a try for himself later in the second half, but this was ruled out. Wallen has grabbed the attention of coaches and fans. He is expected to hold his spot and line up against Burleigh Bears next Saturday at the Santos National Football Stadium for the Round 17 clash. Moniplus NCDC Port Moresby Vipers are back in the winner's circle after a hard-fought victory over Gas Resources Central Dabaris 14 points to 10 in round 12 of the Digicel ExxonMobil Cup played at the Santos National Football Stadium, Port Moresby. The much-needed win also ended Vipers' 6 games losing streak since round 6.
It was a long time between drinks for the pride of the nation's capital, Port Moresby Vipers, since recording their last win back in round 6 against Civic Pride in Wewak. The foundation club promised a lot at the start of the season, boasting a good mix of youth and experience on their playing roster. Apparently, things have not worked out for them over the past 6 weeks. Sunday's victory against the Barris would also bring some joy to incoming coach Enoch Maki, who only took over the role from Joe Sipper 2 weeks ago. The 1 p.m. clash got off to a tightly contested opening 20 minutes with hardly any points scored by either side until the Barris conceded a penalty within easy kicking range for Niki Hasu to convert into a 2-pointer on the 23rd minute. After coping some punishing defense inside the Barris red zone, Vipers' persistent in keeping the Barris in the pressure cooker finally paid off when Gilmore Paul set up Vipers winger Edina Gebi on the right edge for a 8-0 lead. The Barris were able to fight their way back into the contest 10 minutes before half-time, using Slick Paul's skills to set up left winger and debutant Moses Veata to score for 8-4 scoreline until half-time. Second half, Vipers opened the scoring again. This time, halfback Niki Hasu created his own luck with a big dummy play that left the Barris defense in his wake before offloading to Big Stanton Albert to score for a 14-4 lead. From another the Barris misfortune inside their own half, Vipers inside centre Leon Undupia picked up a stray ball before offloading to man of the match Joel Genna to trouble the scoreboard again 18-4. After being on the back foot for majority of the game, the Barris showed glimpses of what a dangerous side they can be on their day. Unfortunately, they shot themselves in the foot, coughing up too many possessions, very much to the delight of the Vipers. With 6 minutes left, Vipers broke loose again, this time Genna using his deadly footwork to push away for his second try that would put his team back into the winner's circle 24-4. The Barris, to their credit, got one back in the dying stages of the match from a nice piece of work between 5'8" Matthew Wawe and fullback Junior Bobby to put the score at 12-24, Vipers in front until full time. Genna was voted man of the match. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
PNG Kickboxing Federation has cancelled its campaign to the European Championship Challenge scheduled for later this year. The Federation picked 34 fighters for the recent Clash of the Regions fights, but can't make the championship challenge because of the several, including funding. PNG Kickboxing Federation President Stanley Nandek said 34 fighters were selected for the European Championship, 5 females and 3 overseas-based fighters. However, they have cancelled their participation for the following reasons. Number 1, most of the fighters do not have passports. Processing passport is a lengthy process and it will be very complicated. Number 2, the trip is expensive, therefore the Federation has decided to give more time to the fighters to raise more funds. Number 3, the fighters need proper training. Despite this setback, PNG kickboxers have the World Championship in France early next year to look forward to. Nandek said, for the event in France, the Federation will bring the same 34 fighters that it has selected in the recent Clash of the Regions. Fighters that have secured sponsorship will be over to train. He is now appealing for the Minister for Sports and sporting stakeholders, including the Sports Foundation and corporate organizations, to support the World Championship campaign. Today goes down as a momentous milestone for the reigning PNG National Soccer League champion, Ley City FC. The 8-time and current NSL champions carry on a legacy raised over a period of 10 years, is now back under the control of inaugural franchise owner, the Ley City Authority.
The Ley City FC season 2023 is significant under the inaugural franchise ownership of the Municipal Authority of the second city of PNG, the Ley City Authority. Chairman and Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso takes over the reign from the Ley Biscuit Company. Laisiri Authority has been part and parcel of the Laisiri FC over the 2 terms of DPM Rosso and carries forth a legacy established at the flagship soccer team of Lae and Morobe Province. The Laisiri FC opens its inaugural NPL season with all due respect to the Lae Biscuit Company and Chairman Yen Chow. Soccer in PNG will never have reached one of its highest points in time if it wasn't for the love of sports by the Chow family in the country. And Laisiri FC is a standout flagship team of the Morobe Province. It's only rightful that the Laisiri Authority retains and advances the legacy of the Laisiri FC as a dominant player in PNG's soccer arena, reaching out to the Oceania region as well. The football team has been an inspiration for PNG as well as role models in various settings of society to the district and the provinces respectively. The Laisiri Authority believes it is high time the legacy established by Laisiri FC is kept alive and cemented into the future. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
Ganglove consultant University Piggies held off Moni Plus Nova 14 points to 12 in round 12 of the Pepsi Capital Rugby Union competition on Saturday at Bava Park, Port Moresby. Their win comes down to discipline and willingness to get the job done in both ends of the field, during attack and in defence. The determined Nova team, with the help of former Australian Wallaby Aidan Toa, put up a strong contest against courageous University Piggies to maintain their winning run, but the Piggies pulled off an upset win with just a 2-point difference. The both sides enjoying equal possession of the ball throughout the match, the Piggies were more disciplined and remained composed until final whistle. Their win comes down to discipline and willingness to get the job done in both ends of the field, during attack and in defense. This was reflected in their attitude to keep showing up for each other despite not controlling the ball well and sticking to the game plan. The University Piggies had a heap of work to do in ball control and structure of their set plays. On the other hand, Nova captain Manu Levy accepted the defeat and pointed out that his team need to work on its second drive in scrum and avoid giving out unnecessary penalties to the opposition, which cost them the game. Sitting second on the ladder with 6 wins, 4 losses and a draw, this defeat would mean a change in standing on the points ladder. With Harlequins, Defence and University on 6 points each, Nova could potentially drop down a place or 2. Both teams pledged to police up their weakness areas and come back stronger in the round 13 clash next weekend. PNG Netball Federation, in partnership with the Water Aid and Netball Australia, were in Madang Province to deliver the Come and Play program, also known as the Hamamas Long Pillai, under the Team Up program. They targeted children playing netball under the Madang Netball Association.
Madang is the third province that PNG Netball Federation visited to deliver its Come and Play program. The program ultimately seeks to teach children correct netball skills and basic hygiene when playing sports. PNG Netball's Media and Communications Manager, Kori Toa Navuru, stated that the event had been successful and that they were happy to have completed their course on time. They also did a mini presentation of equipment to 6 identified schools within Madang.
Here to deliver our Come and Play program. That's a shorter version of Hamamas Long Pillai under the Team Up program. And the program basically covers basic hygiene skills and teaching our children the correct netball skills.
During the 4-day course of the event, the girls were taught personal values, leadership, hygiene, and an additional menstrual hygiene for the players.
First day we did introduction, so with the first session introduction in the morning, and in the afternoon we did my values. So we are getting the kids to ask them what their values are and why the values are important to them and how they can use their values in netball and in their own lives too. And the second day we do leadership, so we're trying to teach the girls how they can become leaders. At a young age, anyone can be a leader. Whether you are young or older, anyone can be a leader.
President of Madang Netball Association, Velda Yama, was grateful for the program outreach to Madang. She said the young girls learned very important things during the program especially how to take care of their bodies and keeping their hygiene in check.
Association, we really appreciate this program here, the activity that has been hosted in Medan province here. In fact, especially all the young ones, the talented little girls need to know about leadership and hygiene, and a few more keys that they've explained, they've taught the students here, which I really appreciated, and I believe that we will carry on from there within the association when we play netball.
Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
And that's all in sports. Over to you, Marisila.
Thanks, Rex. That ends this edition of TV1 News. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.